So I am out on a walk today and trying to decide what is it that I really want to talk about. And I realized I've never actually put my testimony into a video. So that's kind of what I do today. So I guess it all started back in high school. I was a Christian, and I went to church, and I led worship, and I did all the crazy things like that. And I don't know. I got really good grades in school, and when it came time to decide college, I decided not to go to college, but instead maybe go for something in the military. And I took the test for the military and did very well. They said I could do anything that I wanted to do. Anything was a possibility. And so that was great. That is until I heard about the height restrictions and found out that I was actually too tall for all of the branches that I want to go to. And so, God, what is it that you want me to do now? I don't understand. Because I found that out the day after all of the schools had stopped accepting applications. So, what is it that you want me to do? And so I just went to community college. I went to community college and I worked at Starbucks for a year. And that was really good, but man, it got really mundane very quickly. I worked a couple jobs and community college, and I just felt like I wasn't going anywhere. I'm from Washington, D.C., where it's all about your job title, how much money you make, who you know, that kind of thing. And here I am going to community college and working at Starbucks. So I decided to come up with a plan to get out and become my own person and grow up, per se. And that's what I did. I moved. And I ended up going to Fort Wayne, Indiana. Now, Fort Wayne is the middle of nowhere. I like to call it the armpit of America. It's very beautiful and the people are very nice, but I don't know why I moved there. And life started good. I got an apartment, I got a car, I had a good job at Starbucks. I was a shift manager, and things were working out really well. And I had aspirations to go to Purdue once things kind of settled down, but they never did. And I ended up losing my job at Starbucks. I ended up losing my apartment and car and moved into a bro house, which was a little bit cheaper. I lived with 4 other dudes, and it was a good time. But I was failing again. I was failing at life, and I don't know. It was difficult. So I'm like, I'm going to go to school. I've got to make something of myself. And that's what I was going to do. I was going to go to Purdue. And so I put my application in, and I actually got accepted. But before I went to school, I wanted to go on one more vacation kind of thing. So I went to Seattle. And I went to Seattle for a few weeks, actually, like a month. And it was a good time. And I went to Subway for a lot. I went to Subway a lot. And I was sitting there thinking about what I wanted to do with my life. And I heard God for the very first time, very specifically, you need to go to Bible college. What? Are you serious? Like, Bible college? And so I brought this up to my mom. She was like, oh, it's a good idea, but, you can go to Purdue and get a better job. I don't know. Anyway, I get back to Indiana. I actually go to Purdue and start signing up for classes. I'm with the dean or whatever, the counselor or whatever, and I'm signing up for classes, and God was like, hey, what are you doing? What are you doing there? And I'm like, I'm signing up for classes. And he's like, didn't I tell you to go to Bible college? And I was like, yeah. And so I asked to be excused. I went out in the hallway. I called my mom. I said, all right, I really do. I need to go to Bible college. And she goes, well, how are you going to get there? The semester starts in a week or two, and it's in California. And, there's no way you're going to be able to make it there in time. She gets on the internet and she finds a sister campus in Indianapolis, which is an hour away. And it's the only one on the East Coast of America. And I'm like, phew. So the next day, I didn't even go back into the office to sign up for class. I just left right there. And I went down to CCBCI in Indianapolis, and I liked the campus, and I decided to go there, so I did. And it wasn't that hard of a move because it was only an hour away. And so I went, and it was great. The first semester went by really well. I had some friends, and I learned a lot. I was in a few really good classes like self-confrontation and, church history, that kind of stuff. And it was good. But then the second semester came around, and I had some issues with the leadership. And this I kind of smacked myself today because I'm like, what were you doing? Are you serious? And it was a two-way street, don't get me wrong. He definitely did some things that were uncalled for, but I was being kind of an idiot too. So yeah, I fought with this guy. I fought with this guy every day, and it wasn't a good situation. And I mean, it even came down to where I didn't even want to go on the same mission trip with these people because I just was so bitter. I was so bitter. And so I didn't. They have this mission trip every spring, and I was supposed to go, and I had already asked off for work, and I was like, okay, I mean, that might work. But I didn't go. And instead, because I already had the weeks off from work, I decided to plan my own trip. And this was seen by leadership there as I'm going to outdo you kind of move. So they didn't like that very much. And 2 days before I'm supposed to go, I planned to go to Germany. 2 days before I'm supposed to go, the leadership called me and said, hey, we need you out. You have to leave. You're not allowed to be here anymore. Oh, thanks. Okay. And that was kind of a jerk move, but you know what? I deserved it. I was being a twerp. So I moved. I moved out. I put all my stuff in somebody's garage, and I went to Germany for 6 weeks with a friend of mine from the Bible college, and we had a great time. We really did. It was a great time. And there's only one thing, though, that really stood out to me the whole trip. And it was one night when some of the people that we were staying with, they were non-Christians. They asked me to go to the club with them, and so I did. And I wasn't going to party, okay? I was just going to kind of get an idea of what it was like. And so I get there. I didn't drink, but I saw people singing lyrics to these songs and dancing. And I understood the lyrics of the songs. They were in English. And I hope they didn't understand the lyrics because, I don't know. The lyrics were basically like, I don't care if I die right now. I just want to go out partying, basically. And it was like, wow. These people have a giant hole in their life, and they're looking to fill it with all these things, alcohol and women and partying and dancing and stuff. Like, when are they going to get a clue? And I realized right then that God was calling me to share his love with these kind of people. And that was the greatest moment of my life. The greatest moment of my life was sitting at a club watching these people losing their lives slowly. And I don't know. I don't know how to express how that made me feel. But I knew that God was calling me into the mission field, and I knew God was going to have a plan for my life. And so we got back from Germany, and I thought instantly, God is going to work in my life. He's going to send me out in the mission field right away. That didn't happen either. So I get home. I don't have a Bible college to go back to. I don't have any money now. And all my stuff is in a friend's garage. And I didn't have anywhere to go. And so there was a garden shed that I was able to clear out. And I lived in there for a while. I had a pet bat, which was really cool. And it got up to like 105 degrees at night. Oh, it was miserable. And I almost was angry at God for showing me all of the things that I was going to do with my life and then not instantly doing it. And so he was still getting me ready, though. I still had a lot of things that I had to get fixed in my life. Like, I had a lot of things that were not right, and I needed to change, and I needed to be sanded down a little bit. And if I would have gone out in the mission field the way that I was, I would have probably caused more harm than good. And so God uses time, I think, to really just to change my heart a little bit. And so after that, I'm living in this garden shed. I don't have much of a future anywhere. I'm kind of working at Starbucks again, kind of, but not really. It was brutal. And then one day I get a call from my parents, and they're like, hey, we have to short sell our house. So, yeah, we're losing our house too, basically. Oh, great. Awesome. And it was at this point that I was like, well, you know what? I'm going to have to run home to mommy and daddy because I don't have anything going for me right now. I don't have anything going for me. All right, God, I'll give you a year. I'll help my parents for a year. I will go home and serve them and help them move and get them in their new house. But after that, I want you to send me out somewhere. And so that's what I did. I scrounged together the money I had. I moved home. I helped them move out of their old place and into a new place. And it was a good time. I went back to my old job at Starbucks. I felt like I had completely wasted a couple years of my life. And I was back to square one. I'm at my parents' house again, working at Starbucks with no future, it seemed. Well, so I'm working at Starbucks one day and a friend comes in and he's like, hey, look at me. I'm like all dressed up and I have a desk job and everything. And I'm like, wow, that's something I really want. Hey, can you get me an interview? I mean, I don't have a degree or anything, but get me an interview. And so a few days later, some of the higher ups in the company came by Starbucks, and I recognized the logo on their T-shirt, and I was like, hey, what's up? And he was like, you're a really good people person. Maybe you should get some kind of interview. And so that's what happened. I walked out of Starbucks on the spot, and I went and I interviewed for this place. And my jaw just about hit the floor when I saw how much they were going to pay me. It was ridiculous. And it came down to me and this other guy. The other guy had 2 masters and 1 bachelor's from Europe or something. And so he easily had me beat for the job. But for some reason, this company gave me the job. And I can only say that God's hand was in it. He was preparing me. He was getting me some money so that when I was going to be sent out, I would have something to work with. And so I worked here for a couple months, and August came around again. And I was like, all right, God, where are you going to send me out to? And I'm thinking I'm going to go to Bible college in Seattle. Like that'd be beautiful. But he didn't. I actually visited Seattle. It was really nice. I got home, and I just had a bad feeling about it. And I'm like, why do I feel like this? And so I told my mom, I'm like, I don't think Seattle Bible College is the right thing to do. And she's like, well, what would you do then? And I was like, I don't know, like hungry. And I wasn't even thinking, really. I wasn't even thinking hungry. I just kind of said it. And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, what? Wait, hungry? And she's like, yeah. And so we look into it, and it's like a missions-based, like send-out kind of school that's a little bit more like focused on like evangelism and stuff. And I'm like, all right, maybe this is right. So I put my application in, got accepted, and now I'm here. I'm in Hungary. Okay, so I'm in Hungary. And don't get me wrong, I have a lot of faults. I really, really do. And God is still teaching me how to behave like a good person. And I fail a lot. But I'm at Bible college, and I'm beginning to learn what it means to love people. All right. Anyway, he's teaching me how to love. I had to stop and get something from the store. I saw Coca-Cola, and I was like, shoot! So where was I? Okay, loving people. That's right. God's teaching me how to love people. And, I mess up a lot, and I'm doing my best. I really am. I'm here, and I'm going out on mission trips every semester. I'm going out on, it's different. In Hungary, if you go on a mission trip, you can go anywhere in Europe for like $200. If you're in America and you go on a mission trip, you're either going to a nearby city in the U.S. or you're going to a foreign country and it costs like $1,000 or something. So it's good to be in Hungary. I can go anywhere and experience a lot of different things for pretty cheap. And I'm able to get some hands-on experience when it comes to helping people and I don't know. It's really good. And so I put this in a video previously. I'm just going to kind of go over it real quick. God sent me to a little Hungarian gypsy village in Heves, and the night before we get there, God tells me in a dream vision thing. This is new for me too. He tells me in this dream vision thing, there's a wheelchair, and I hear a voice that says, "Get up and walk." Get up and walk. Okay, what does that mean? That's kind of creepy. That's kind of scary. And there's no wheelchairs in gypsy villages. They don't have wheelchairs over there. But you know what? All right, we'll see what happens. I get to the gypsy village the next day, doing worship and kind of playing with some kids and stuff. And then in rolls this lady. Sure enough, in rolls this lady in a wheelchair. I'm like, oh! I start crying. And people on my team are like, "Dude, are you okay?" And I'm like, yeah. I pull the pastor aside. I'm like, "Hey, I'm supposed to pray for that lady. Will you translate for me?" And he's like, "Yeah, sure, let's do it." We go over there. I'm like, "Hey, this is really weird, but I'm supposed to pray for you." And she's like, "Well, I don't go to this church, but that's why I came here." And I'm like, ooh, you know what I mean? I'm kind of getting goosebumps at this point. And, okay, this is of God. All right, I'm going to do it. So I pray. I'm like, "God, I have no power here. You have all the power. If it's sickness, take it away. If it's strength that she needs, give it to her. I have no ability here, Lord. You have to do a work. In Jesus' name, amen." And I look up at her, and she's like, "I can feel warmth in my legs again." Oh, okay, now I'm creeped out a little bit because I know God's working, but I'm a little bit scared. And so I'm like, instead of being like, "Rise up and walk," I'm just like, "All right, very good. Have a good day." And I kind of walk away. I get 10 feet away, and I'm like, I kind of failed there. But I turn around, and she's trying to push herself out of her wheelchair. And she does. And she walks around for a minute or two. And then she gets tired and she sits down. But then the worship music comes on. And she grabs my hand, and we dance the whole 5-6 minute song. And it was phenomenal. That kind of stuff. Like, what? What is going on? That's not supposed to happen. And so God is showing me stuff like that. And God's taking care of me too. Like, if I need money, He takes care of me. Like, I was supposed to go to Romania, and I'm not going to tell anybody. I'm not going to tell anybody about my needs. And he gave the money through somebody at my dad's work anonymously. And I'm like, that's not supposed to happen. And it was like to the dollar almost. And that's just, stuff like that is just not, God is blowing my mind. He's showing me that He is God, and He is going to take care of me. If I'm in His will, He's going to take care of me. And so that's what I'm doing. I'm here. And so winter break came and gone this last winter, and this last semester went pretty well, and now I'm here. This last semester came and went, and now I'm here in Aird. In the summer, I'm an intern for a company called OM, which is Operation Mobilization, and I'm playing baseball, I'm coaching baseball, and I'm just getting to share Jesus with people, and that's really just what I want to do. That's like, God has changed my entire life. He has taken the direction that I thought I had to go in. I have to create myself. I have to make myself. I have to be somebody important. And He said, no, you don't. All you have to do is die to yourself and give yourself to me, and I'll make you into somebody for me. All right. So, I mean, shoot, I don't know what I'm doing. Half the time I mess up, and it's a struggle, but I am still learning how to hear the voice of God. But I'm getting there. And so when it comes to hearing the voice of God, it's something that I've really began to understand. I mean, I think the Bible says, my sheep know my voice. And it's kind of like when somebody calls you on the phone. Like your mom. Your mom says, hey. She doesn't have to say, hey, it's your mom. No. You know her voice. She calls you, and you know her voice. You know who it is. She doesn't have to say, hey, it's mom. You just know. And so I think it's the same way with God. As we grow closer to God, as we begin to walk with God and listen to the still small voice in our hearts, He begins to speak with us, and we begin to understand what His voice sounds like. And it becomes easier and easier to determine the will of God in our lives. And that's really what I'm working on right now. That's what I'm working on. I've got to learn how to hear the voice of the Lord. I've got to understand what that sounds like. And so so far so good. And so I don't know what I'm doing. I am going to Bible college. After that, I'm probably going to stay in Hungary for a while. I think this is somewhere I could see myself long term. But God likes to throw curveballs sometimes. So I don't know. When it comes to, I see Him putting pieces in my life. I see Him making moves in my life. And sometimes I just have to look and I have to be like, I wonder what He's doing here. I wonder what that's all about. And I see kind of like a picture coming together, almost like a painting. And I begin to see like parts of it, and I'm beginning to see that He is piecing together something big. And I'm excited. I want to see what He's going to do in my life. But we'll see. So only time will tell. God's got something big for me, and as long as I continue to walk down that path and follow Him, it's going to be good. So I'll keep you guys updated with this video channel, and that's really all I can think of right now is I need you guys' prayer. Oh my gosh, I am way too tall for these. The sidewalks in Hungary, okay, they don't you have to duck under trees and stuff. It's ridiculous. But anyway, all right, well, it's been good, and I'll see you guys next week-ish, maybe. We'll see. Bye.